I am Patrick Cawley with Keystone Elder Law. This is Keynotes, a series of conversations about issues affecting the elderly, people with special needs, and veterans of the armed forces. I am joined today by Kim Spencer with SpiriTrust Lutheran LIFE, with locations in Enola, Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, and Chambersburg, Franklin County, Pennsylvania. Kim, thank you so much for your time. This is such an important topic to cover because it goes to the desire that so many people have to stay independent and live in their homes, preferably as long as they possibly can, before going into any sort of facility-based nursing care. So thank you for joining me, and tell me about yourself and SpiriTrust Lutheran.
Okay, well, thanks for having me, Patrick. My name is Kim Spencer, obviously. I have been with SpiriTrust Lutheran LIFE now for over 2 years, came to them with a background of customer service and marketing. I started out as the receptionist at the Life Center in Chambersburg and grew to learn about the program, everything that they do. And I thought, wow, this is a great program to get out there. You know, I know a lot of people didn't know about it or was limited, information was limited. So stayed in that position for about, like I said, 2 years, and then the opportunity came up for me to be the community relations coordinator. And I thought, I can do this, you know, I can share everything I know about life. So I've done that, and my passion for doing so has been that when my mom was alive, she lived with me for a while, and she fell and she fractured her first hip, and then she had to go into a nursing home for rehab. And then she came out of there and came to live with me, and then fractured the other hip and had to go into a nursing home again for rehab. Well, at that point, I was not able to bring her home to stay with me because she had so many limitations and this and that. And I didn't feel safe bringing her home, and I wasn't home all day with her. So I couldn't do that. So she never really wanted to go to a nursing home. And it, like most families, most children, I hated to place her there, but I had no other choice. My siblings were out of town. I was basically the caregiver, you know, the whole 9 yards. So I placed her in the nursing home. She grew to love the nursing home itself and the people there. And because she was more of a social butterfly, like her daughter, I get it, honestly. She was very cognitive, you know, so she could communicate a whole 9 yards. So as time went on, you know, her condition progressed, and she was a dialysis patient. So she had different issues that she was dealing with. So long story short, when she passed, and then I came to SpiriTrust Lutheran, I learned about this program, and I thought, wow, had I known about life when my mom was alive, this would have been wonderful for her. She could have stayed with me at home. You know, she could have went to the program, you know, any day that they chose, had the care, got the care that she needed, came back home to stay at home, you know. So, you know, when I found out about life and what they do, I thought, oh, wow, I got to share this with other people because so many people don't know about it.
I should probably just take the last 2 minutes of what you said and play it for clients, because that's one of the best explanations of life and really the whole decision-making process that goes into the level of care that's appropriate for people when they get to a certain stage, because you're absolutely right. Some people can no longer stay safely in a home, especially if it's a home with 2 floors and using stairs as a necessity, or, you know, just people work during the day, and you know, maybe they have somebody to help out in the home, a home health or just a family member or somebody, but it becomes a significant responsibility and one that teeters on safety. And so for some people, it's just unsafe, and the level of care would be more appropriate in a skilled nursing facility. And you're right that sometimes there's that social component that the resident going in is not real happy about it at first, but grows to enjoy that social component of the nursing facility.
Absolutely.
But I think you and I both know that, you know, most of the surveys out there, whether it's from AARP or other sources, show that people have a preference to stay in their homes and to stay independent as long as possible. And so you're saying, you know, if you had known about the LIFE program, that might have changed that analysis of where to go. So let's talk about the LIFE program. You know, just as background for people watching this, there's a national program called PACE, and that's the program of all-inclusive care for the elderly. In Pennsylvania, it's called LIFE, which is living independence for the elderly.
Right.
And so you can go through everything that's offered, but it's essentially a managed care program. It's all in one package, medical care, socialization, transportation, all kinds of services for people who could be in a nursing facility because they're medically eligible, but it's safe to keep them, in their home, and that's what their preference is. But please take me through the LIFE program. You're the one who's involved with this on the front lines, and explain how you tell people who inquire about LIFE. How do you explain it to them?
Okay. Well, again, I'll reference my mother, because when she was in the nursing home after she fractured her hip, she could have come home with me. She did the first time, she came home with me. And then the second time when she went in, she would have been able to come home had I had the right adaptive equipment here at home for her, and I was able to get her to and from the dialysis center where she needed to be. I couldn't do all of that on my own. But the LIFE program, once you're enrolled, and it's for seniors ages 55 or older, and once you're enrolled, all of these services like speech therapy, occupational therapy, social services, medical, dental, all of that is included under one roof. I like to call it the one-stop shop, because once you're enrolled in the program, you get all of these services. And the nice part about it is our physician becomes your primary care physician. So you're seeing that physician all the time. You're not seeing a physician's assistant one time or this person the next. You're seeing that physician all the time. He knows your needs. He knows the care that needs to happen. And him and this interdisciplinary team, I always get that messed up, they work together to provide the care that the individual needs. So everything is inclusive, and you see the same people, and that's just what it's all about. And when you can see one person and one team that knows you individually, that's just the perfect outcome. So
yeah, the continuity of care is so important, and the fact that doctor is, I think doctors generally are used to working interdisciplinarily, with PT or OT, speech therapy, but when they're all part of the same program, then they really know and communicate with each other especially well. So how about, where are these services provided? I mean, so if the person's not going into a skilled nursing facility, where are they going for this care?
Okay, the services are provided at both of our centers in Enola and Chambersburg. And how that works is the team will decide, how many days a week that they feel is appropriate for you to be in the center. And then when you're there, they will look at everything that needs to be taken care of, whether you need to see the doctor that day, excuse me, or if you maybe need to see the social services person that day, or maybe you need physical or occupational therapy while you're in the center. So you may do different things, different days when you're in the center, but everything is taken care of at both centers. And we provide transportation to and from the center so that you or your loved one don't have to worry about that as well. So that's the great component of it too, because a lot of people think, well, how am I going to get there? We provide that service. We have a transportation director who sets up. Actually, she will come out, she'll look at your home, she'll see the safest place for the bus to come in and pick you up, and the bus drivers will help transport you to the bus, on the bus, and get you off the bus and take you to the center. So that's a wonderful part of it. It's a big part of what people worry about, how am I going to get there? So
I'm glad you touched on the transportation piece, because that's, going back to the beginning of this conversation when we talked about trying to care for a loved one in the home for as long as possible. Transportation is a huge part of it, whether it's getting to doctor's appointments or getting wherever else they need to go. And that's all included in this one-stop shop.
Absolutely.
So, I guess one issue is, so SpiriTrust Lutheran LIFE, you just described where the actual centers are there, so you've covered a broad geographic region of Pennsylvania. So you cover Franklin County, Cumberland County, where Enola is, and Perry County. They can come down to the Enola Center, I presume. One of the issues we've come up with in other parts of the state, if they're in, say, if a client comes to us at Keystone Elder Law and we're trying to see if LIFE is an option, maybe they're in a far-flung part of the county where they are, and it's just going to be a lot more difficult to get them to sort of where the center is for that county. How do you deal with that, where you're covering such a broad area, and how do you get these people to the centers in either Enola or Chambersburg?
Okay, in Chambersburg we have five buses, 5 drivers. So the transportation coordinator coordinates all of that. Like one person may do Shippensburg, one driver may do Chambersburg area, one driver may do Chambersburg and maybe Waynesboro, wherever the participants' homes are located, that's how she'll coordinate that. So, and then in Cumberland, we have 4 drivers, and she'll do the same for there. It's the same transportation director that works both centers. So she has a wonderful idea of where people live before we get started, you know, how we're going to get there, how long it's going to take the buses to actually get there to the house and then get them back to the center, you know, that kind of thing. So she does a wonderful job with that.
That's great. So you end up covering a large service area,
Yeah.
but you have a system for you know, getting to people in all of those areas. And I'm sure especially
Yep.
you can get into parts of each of these counties where people feel like they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, maybe by choice, and so
Right.
it's good to know that doesn't cut them off from this essential service.
Right. And I have to say, when I started and they told me I was going to cover Perry County, I'd never been to Perry County before. So I'm thinking, oh, Lord. But, you know, in driving there, I enjoyed going out there, and just it's a broad countryside, but it's very nice. So it's really neat that we can bring people from that far out back into the center in Enola. So while it's a little bit of a drive for some of the participants, it's a nice drive. And the conversations between the bus driver and the participants, it's just nice. So it works out well.
And one thing we didn't touch on, since you just introduced sort of that social aspect that we talked about in the context of a skilled nursing facility, the people who participate in LIFE get that from the LIFE program as well, this social connection, not only with the staff, but also with the other LIFE participants.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, they'll come in every day, and our activities coordinator, recreational therapist, she's got a list of activities planned for each particular day, and it's a wide range of activities. They'll play games, they'll do puzzles, they go on outings, just a wide variety of things. But while they're in the center and while they're waiting to do whatever, they can be conversing with all the other participants, and it's neat to sit back and in my position as a receptionist, I could hear all the conversations that were going on, you know. So it's like, hey, what are you doing today? Or what did you do over the weekend? And it just kind of goes back and forth, and they really enjoy seeing each other. And actually they start to miss one another when, you know, one participant isn't there for a couple of days, because not everybody is there in the center every day. So it's really neat to listen to those conversations, and that social aspect is so important to their, you know, this group, you know. So it's wonderful to listen to that. For me, it was.
Right. So when you say one-stop shop, you're not just talking all of the medical services and the related physical therapy, occupational therapy. You're talking about mental engagement with, you know, activities. You're talking about lifting the spirit by connecting with other people. So that's, it really is all encompassing. You mentioned at the beginning, you know, when you talked about what the LIFE program is, that there's the requirement that it's for 55 and older. And I touched a little bit on the fact that you have to be medically eligible to go into a skilled nursing facility. And this is just an alternative to that, but you still have to have that level of medical need.
Correct.
What are some of the other eligibility criteria? Now that we've talked about all the benefits of the LIFE program, what are some of the eligibility criteria so somebody knows whether they even qualify or not?
Well, basically, we provide care to those who have Medicare and Medicaid. Medicaid, if you have Medicaid already, the services are absolutely free. Everything is taken care of through the program. If you have Medicare, depending on which plan you have, we'll work with that. And sometimes there is a copay with that, but we'll work with you to see what that is. So it's an all-inclusive, and basically when we say you have to be nursing home eligible, that can mean a lot of things, and you know that as well. I mean, if you need help with your daily living activities such as bathing, dressing, you know, making your meals, that kind of thing, all those qualify into making you eligible for a nursing home. So if you need help with any or all those kinds of things, those are the population that we're looking for, because those are the ones that we can help. So it really depends on your individual situation and your individual needs. But any of those things can qualify you for, you know, a nursing home, which also qualify you for our program.
And if people have questions about being eligible for Medicaid or applying for Medicaid or Medicare benefits, that's obviously what we at Keystone Elder Law exist to do. We can certainly talk people through those things. But one other factor that's important for people to keep in mind is, it sort of goes through the theme of everything we've been talking about, is that a person can be safely treated in this way. Absolutely. That they, you know, that because there is a certain line that gets crossed where the person just needs to have, you know, constant nursing care in a skilled
Right.
nursing facility. So I assume that there's some sort of analysis of, you know, how can we include this person safely?
Yes. Yeah. And basically, the way I explain it to a lot of people, you know, they say, well, how do I know if I'm eligible? If you need help with activities of daily living, such as your bathing, your dressing, your getting your meals, that kind of thing, even ambulating safely in your home, all of those things are criteria for actually deeming you eligible for nursing home. But if you can do those things safely with the assistance of someone helping you, say in-home care like we provide along with our services, then that would qualify you for the program. So having said that, we do provide in-home care as well as care in the center, where we have CNAs who come to your home and they'll help you with those daily living activities. Like they'll help you get your meals, they'll help you with your cleaning, they'll help you with your laundry, anything that you need. We can keep you safely in your home without going to a nursing home. That's our goal.
I'm glad you brought up the in-home part that is separate from going to one of the two centers.
Right.
So we've talked about what the LIFE program is, how it's a one-stop shop and has all of these benefits, and we've gone through the eligibility. So how can people in Franklin, Cumberland, or Perry counties get in touch with SpiriTrust if they're interested in talking more about the LIFE program?
Okay. They can contact me via cell, which is 717-655-8650. You can also go online and go to SpiriTrust Lutheran LIFE, and it'll take you right to the LIFE page. Or you can email me directly. It's kSpencer@SpiriTrustLutheranLife.org. It is a long email, but you can get me. Most likely people will call, or they'll call one of the centers, and you'll speak with the enrollment coordinator, and she is the one that will basically talk you through the process of enrollment, what you would need, that kind of thing, and then we'll go from there.
Great. Kim, thank you for sharing your personal experience and the passion that gave you for providing this wonderful service to people in our area. And I hope that people do watch this, and I'm sure they'll get a lot out of it, and I hope that they follow up and reach out to you. So thank you again for joining me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.